Welcome back, everybody. You are doing great, and we are almost done with Builder's Guide to Accounting. There's only a few chapters left. In fact, today we're going to be doing a couple of chapters, 3 chapters in this one video, because there's really not a lot of new information in these next few chapters. It's some of this information is something that we've already covered in the past, and the info is cumulative. So I think we can bang out all 3 chapters in one shot, and let's get right into it. We're at chapter 24 on page 277. So this chapter is about statements, putting together a statement. Okay, just a brief idea of what this is. You should be able to delegate financial statements preparation to an employee or a bookkeeper or an accountant. But before you can supervise the bookkeeper, you need a working knowledge of statement procedures. This is not really that important for the exam. Like I said, you're not going to see a lot of information in these chapters. There's great general information for running a business, but not really anything super important for the exam. The only thing I really have highlighted here that I think might be worth you noting is the general ledger is nothing more than a summary of your business activities. Every asset, liability, net worth, income, cost, and expense account is listed here. Kind of a definition, and I keep saying this in my videos. A lot of the questions on the exam are strictly definitions, something that you could find in the index or in the back of the book. It's good to know where you can get this. You don't necessarily need to know any of this stuff or remember it. You just need to be able to source it during the exam. All right. Next, on page 281, we have the trial balance. The next step after posting the general ledger is to test the balance. Because all the entries in the double entry method consist of equal debits and credits, the sum of all accounts in the correctly maintained general ledger will equal to 0. Once again, something that we've covered in the previous chapters, okay? Debits and credits. Next. Keep going. We're going to keep going. Page 284, closing the books. All right, this I think is important, okay? So make sure that that you're going to take away anything from this chapter. It should be this. The books are closed at the end of each year. This means that the final adjustments are made to update all accounts and then recorded in the general ledger. Then all income, costs, and expense accounts are closed out. Like I said, if you're going to remember something from this chapter, this is the one thing you need to remember. Other than that, most of the information that we've covered is kind of redundant, all right? So we're not going to stop here. There's some test questions for you to practice on 286, but we're going to move on to chapter 25. Chapter 25 doesn't have too much information either. That's why we're doing everything in one shot. A comparative period statement lets you see the progress in your financial condition from month to month and year to year. All right. There's some examples, balance sheets, income statements, other stuff. And on page 294, other comparative applications. Comparative cash flow statements can be prepared to discover increases or decreases in cash efficiency. All right. I think that's an important line to remember, 294. And that's about it for this chapter. So, told you, super fast. Some test questions, 296, just to test your knowledge. And we're going to move on to chapter 26. All right, so restatements by accounting methods. Once again, the information in this chapter should not be new to us. If you've been following my videos, then this is some of the stuff that's already been discussed in the previous chapters. They're just kind of reviewing it and building upon it. All right, percentage of completion accounting requires that all books items reflect the degree of job completion. Completed contract accounting requires that all income, costs, and expenses be kept out of the income statement until the job is finished. That's been mentioned before. Know the difference between the two. Sometimes the most practical way to keep the books is to use a combination of the 2 methods. Maintain percentage of completion records for the long-term contracts and completed contract method for short-term contracts of less than 30 days. All right, that's important for you to remember. Other than that, there really isn't anything else. Some test questions on page 304 and 305 for you to cover. And that's pretty much it. I just want you to understand that You know, we are not accountants, we're not CPAs. You're not expected to be a CPA or learn how to do any of this stuff for the exam. You're not going to be expected to fill out an income statement or a ledger or a balance sheet. You should have a general idea of what each statement and what each thing does, but you are not going to be responsible for actually building it. It really would help if you can look at a statement and, you know, if you know what you're looking at, if you can understand what's on there. But that's, I think, once again, more for general knowledge. For the purposes of this exam, I don't think you really need to get that deep into it. That's why it was, I think, easy for us to bang out these 3 chapters all in one shot. And that's pretty much it for now. There'll be more videos because there's going to be more chapters. But like I said, we're getting towards the end of the book. I appreciate you sticking around. If you've got any questions, as always, definitely hit me up. Let me know. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video.